Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today this is going to be a rather short video, I imagine, and this is my CDs and vinyl I bought recently for November. Now yes, I am aware it is currently January, mid-January, and I'm doing a thing for November. Well, I just completely forgot to do it in December, and you could say, well, couldn't I lump the ones in November with December? Yes, I could, but there's a lot with December, so to keep that video just that bit shorter, because that one could be quite long, I decided to just keep November as a separate one. I mean, I have, ever since I started this, I've done one every single month, so why have an exception to that? So we're doing November's, and December's will be coming very soon. So this is a very short haul. I didn't get too much in November, but I got some reasonably interesting stuff. So firstly, at the last car boot of 2014 I decided to go to, I found someone selling some interesting CDs for 20p each. Now that is not much money at all, so I decided to take some gambles. The first thing I saw though, which made me decided to buy some stuff, was for 20p, a bargain. Jefferson Airplane, Feed Your Head Live from 67 to 69. And this basically has some live recordings from Jefferson Airplane in the late 60s, including versions of White Rabbit, She Has Funny Cars, Somebody to Love, Plastic Fantastic Lover, and a lot of their best songs. Now, of course, Jefferson Airplane would then go on to become Jefferson Starship, and Starship having bigger success than they would as Airplane, but for me, Jefferson Airplane were the pinnacle of the San Francisco psychedelic scene, and one of the best psychedelic bands out there. The only criticism I've always had of them is I really never thought they utilised Grace Slick enough. I think Grace Slick was by far their best asset and one of the best vocalists of the 60s, quite frankly. I absolutely adore her voice. On a song like Somebody to Love or White Rabbit, it's just sublime. And they often, I think, use the male vocalist, Marty Balin, far too much. Yeah, well, he's got a decent voice, definitely can sing. Compared to Grace Slick, nowhere near the same league, in my personal opinion. So yeah, this is a good album. I've been listening to this a fair bit recently. And, well, as these were only 20p, I decided to buy them. I haven't actually listened to this yet, and again, I emphasise only bought it because it was 20p. Hymns, what the hell's it called? Dark Light. I hear these guys, they're Finnish, and they're described as, I think it's like love metal, or some weird tag like that. Apparently they're kind of gothic and melodic, and it's like to 20p. I'll listen to them. I mean, I haven't yet, but I'm sure one day I will listen to them, and if I don't, well, it's 20p, it's hardly much. And this one, I'm definitely going to listen to this. I haven't yet, though. The Philip Lynott album, yes, not Phil Lynott, the Philip Lynott album. His mother named this album for him. Now, Phil Lynott, definitely one of my heroes when it comes to music. I absolutely adore Thin Lizzy. I think they're fantastic. Phil Lynott, just, why he had to die and I couldn't see him live. It is pretty upsetting. Now, this solo album, I really don't know anything about it, to be honest. I bought it because it was 20p and it said Philip Lynott, and I thought, why is he calling himself Philip Lynott? I'm going to have to buy this. Yeah, I doubt it's going to be that good, to be honest. It might. It features Scott Gorham and Mark Knopfler, according to the back here. But I have the experience. If you heard it, it'd be really interesting to know what you think of it, if it's any good, and maybe I was jacked paying 20 whole p for it. Now, an album I found in one of my favourite record shops, Quicksilver Music, in the Southport in the northwest of England. I found for £2 a Bob Dylan album, yes. Not like I've ever bought a Bob Dylan album before, is it? This is Infidels. This album was released in the 80s, 1983. And this is really when Dylan starts to go downhill. His 80s period is not loved by many at all. This was, I think, after the Christine trilogy, which was Saved, Slow Train Coming, and another album. I can't remember what the other one is. It could have been Infidels, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But it wouldn't surprise me too much if it was. I haven't really listened to this too much yet. I sort of put it on in the background, and I can't say it really stood out to me, but I'll give it a proper, fair listen, as I do with every Dylan album. But at the end of the day, you know, I find Dylan interesting, even if I don't like all the music of his. I want to have his discography, just experience the breadth of his work from good to bad. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be reviewing his new album when it comes up, by the way, his album of covers of Frank Sinatra songs. Yeah, I can't say I'm massively excited for it. I don't think it's going to be half as good as Tempest, because Tempest was honestly one of my favourite Dylan albums. It's definitely up there with some of his best, and certainly my favourite of his latter day, Time Out of Mind onward works. Now this Frank Sinatra one could maybe end up being more like, I don't know, Christmas in the Heart or something, some alright Dylan album, not great. But speaking of Dylan, I've got some vinyl that isn't directly Dylan related, but definitely, you know, you can see the association. Joan Baez's, I was going to say Dylan's and Rust, Diamonds and Rust. If you're a Judas Priest fan, you of course know their version of Diamonds and Rust. Great. It's also featured on their live album Unleashed in the East as well. And one of Priest's classic songs, really. They do a fantastic version of this. But I absolutely love the original. I've really been getting into Joan Baez recently, of course. She infamously dated Dylan in the 60s and wrote many a song about him, covered many a song about him, while Dylan rumoured to have written many a song about her. But who knows, because of how vague Dylan is. And this is definitely my favourite Joan Baez album. Because I've always thought some of her original songs are the best. Diamonds and Rust is just absolutely fantastic. You have Winds of the Old Days, which is another song about Bob Dylan. Both Diamonds and Rust and Winds of the Old Days are both about her times with Dylan. They're really heartfelt folk songs with interesting acoustic instrumentation, and they're just so well written. Lyrically, they are absolutely superb. Diamonds and Rust is just lyrically, you know, it's one of the few songs that can get up there with Dylan. To be honest, it really wouldn't have felt out of place if Dylan had written it. And that's as good a praise as I can give it lyrically. And then she also does a fantastic version of Simple Twist of Fate, which of course was released on Dylan's Blood on the Tracks album. One of my favourite tracks on that album, though pretty much everything on that album is one of my favourite tracks. And yeah, it's just a really strong album. If you like Dylan and you like sort of folky music, definitely recommend checking out this album by Joan Baez. I think it's her strongest. Another couple of cheap LPs I bought. I decided to buy Neil Young's After the Gold Rush. Now, Neil Young has never been an artist I've been a big fan of. I've always found his voice a little irritating, let's say. Let's be nice about it and say I found him a little irritating. But I decided when I saw this for £2, I thought, you know what? I'm going to give Neil Young a fair go. Everyone says this is one of like the best classic rock albums out there, so let's see. Is it what people think it is? Now, this is not it's not going to go in my top 100, but I have enjoyed my time with this album, definitely, and I think it's going to be one I will be spinning again. Songs like Southern Man I particularly like, because of course that was the inspiration for Leonard Skinner's Sweet Home Alabama, which I do prefer. But, so yeah, Please that infuriated Ronnie Van Zant as much as it did. I really like the title track, After the Gold Rush, as well. And the only ones off the top of my head I can think of I really liked, because I haven't listened to this album too much yet. I've spun it once or twice, I think. But no, it's definitely interesting, and I would actually pick up some more Neil Young if there's something about. So if you are a Neil Young fan, any recommendations on where next to go with Neil Young, I'd be really interested to know, because I know very little about him, and I know he has a very large body of work, so I'm not really sure where I should go next from here, but I have enjoyed this album. And then lastly, but certainly not least, Alice Cooper's Killers. Can't resist some good old Alice Cooper. I love Alice Cooper. I did a review of Welcome to My Nightmare for my whole little Halloween week thing that I did, and that's an interesting album. But Killers, this is one of the classic era Alice Cooper albums, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure this was the classic lineup before he became Alice Cooper the person, as opposed to Alice Cooper the band, which they were then. I'm just trying to think of any of these singles, and Desperado is a particularly good song I've always liked. Dead Babies, yeah, that was an interesting one. Under My Wheels. I wouldn't say this maybe has as many good hits as something like Schools Out or $1 Billion Babies or Welcome to My Nightmare, but I think as an album this is definitely a solid Alice Cooper album. Definitely one I enjoy. I like most of Alice Cooper's discography, to be honest. Well, certainly the 70s stuff. The 70s stuff is just gold. After that, it's debatable, really, whether it's that great. And then I do like his sort of poison trash type stuff. I think some of that more glammy stuff he did was actually pretty cool, but this is him at his best. This is classic Cooper. And yeah, so that's it. So not a massive haul, but still managed to make a 10-minute video out of it, cause that's just because I'm great at rambling about random albums. So if you suffered this long through me talking, well, hope you enjoyed it. This has been TheAIbumMan. Thanks for watching, kindly subscribe, and as usual, long live rock and roll. And just a couple of things before I end the video. So yeah, CDs I've bought recently for December will be coming very soon, and review-wise, expect in the next few days a review of Beardfish's new album, which has lots of numbers in it, so I can't remember the name of it now, and Marilyn Manson's Pale Emperor as well. They're the couple for the next few days that I'm definitely going to be doing, so look forward to that. Again, long live rock and roll.